A seat. Live from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, and on Mars, I want to present to you the team that has brought us back to Mars tonight. Come on, guys. I see them. There they are. Woo! There we go. Over here, John. All right, let's give them one more round of applause now that we've got them all up here. Thank you very much.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Mars. To NASA. About an hour and a half ago, I went outside and looked toward the west, and I saw Mars there, and I said, in an hour and a half, you are going to have a visitor. And the planet smiled, and I knew that we were going to have good luck. So with this, I want to introduce you our fearless leader, Charlie Bolden.
Boy, I'll tell you, Charles, thanks very much. First of all, just let me say thanks very much to the entire team and all the teams not here. Some of the teams in places like Canberra, Australia, and up in Goldstone, because the Deep Space Network was what made it possible for us to be getting all the data and everything. So, but today, right now, the wheels of curiosity have begun to blaze the trail for human footprints on Mars. Curiosity, the most sophisticated rover ever built, is now on the surface of the red planet, where it will seek to answer age-old questions about whether life ever existed there on Mars, or if the planet can sustain life in the future. This is an amazing achievement, made possible by a team of scientists and engineers from around the world, and led by the extraordinary men and women of NASA and our Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Nothing in robotic planetary exploration is harder, more technically challenging, or as risky as landing on the surface of Mars. And I know most of you are saying, how can he be saying that? It just looks so easy. Trust me. Historically, counting all the missions by all countries, the odds of success are about 40%. The recent U.S. record is better, with now 6 successful missions, including now 4 landings. And I'm going to stray from my script here for a moment, which is always dangerous. But tonight, and I'm probably not going to include all the countries, but tonight there are at least 4 countries, and I won't name them, who are on Mars. And they're on Mars because they went with the United States. So I know this may sound a little strange in this international environment, but I want everyone to understand what I say and what I mean when I say, our leadership is going to make this world better. Tonight, As incredible as our feat was tonight, we just succeeded one more time in raising the bar even higher. New technologies never invented or attempted before were created for this incredible journey. Curiosity's final descent was dubbed 7 Minutes of Terror because in its 7-minute trip to the surface, it had to slow down from 13,000 miles an hour to 0. And I think you've heard this before. That's like driving 65 miles an hour on a freeway and coming to a complete stop in about 2.1 seconds. Hundreds of other things had to go just right, including a parachute slowdown at supersonic speed, 8 rocket engines to power a final descent and final soft landing by a new sky crane landing system. Curiosity will spend the next 2 years seeking answers to one of humanity's oldest questions, as it investigates whether conditions have favored development of microbial life on the red planet. President Obama has laid out a bold vision for sending humans to Mars, and today's landing marks a significant step toward achieving this goal. And now it's my pleasure to introduce to you a very dear friend of mine. He is the President's Science Advisor, the Director of the Office of Science and Technology Policy, and a guy who was sweating through this. And as he told me a little while ago, he thought he was going to throw up at one point. And he's probably mad because I told you that, but my friend, Dr. John Holdren.
I wanted to start by saying thank you for sharing that, Charlie. Well, today on Mars, history was made on Earth. The successful landing of Curiosity, which is, as Charlie has said, the most sophisticated roving laboratory ever sent to another planet, marks what is really an unprecedented technological tour de force. It will stand as an American point of pride far into the future. It's also just the latest example of a long-standing truth about the United States, that even the longest of odds are no match for America's unique blend of technical acumen and gutsy determination. And that's certainly for all of the folks at JPL, at Caltech, at NASA, and our partners whose instruments, as Charlie has pointed out, were on this lander. Big thanks are due to all of them. Our continued preeminence and progress in space and here on Earth in other domains such as biomedicine and healthcare, clean energy, national security, advanced manufacturing, all of this depends on our continuing commitment to science, technology, and innovation, and the passion for adventure that has driven us to explore new worlds. By sustaining our investments in basic research and exploration, we ensure that America will remain at the forefront of the scientific frontier. So I really want to personally congratulate, on behalf of myself, but also on behalf of my boss, President Obama, the team here at JPL at NASA and around the country that contributed to this spectacular achievement. I can only imagine what incredible data and new understandings are going to be uncovered in the coming days, months, and years because of this success. Landing the Mars Science Laboratory rover, Curiosity, on the surface of the red planet was by any measure the most challenging mission ever attempted in the history of robotic planetary exploration. And if anybody has been harboring doubts about the status of U.S. leadership in space, well, there's a one-ton automobile-sized piece of American ingenuity on the, that is... And it's sitting on the surface of Mars right now, and it should certainly put any such doubts to rest. President Obama has challenged America, as Administrator Bolden just said, to send humans to Mars in the 2030s. And Curiosity is going to provide critical information about the red planet and what our astronauts will find once they arrive. The administration is committed to a vibrant and coordinated strategy of Mars exploration and planetary exploration more generally, and continuing America's leadership here on Earth and throughout the solar system. So congratulations again, and long live American curiosity. Thank you.
Let me thank all of you one more time. John Holder and I, unfortunately, have got to go boogie to go somewhere else. We're going to leave you in the very erstwhile hands of Charles Alachi and the technical team, and they've got a little bit more detailed stuff to tell you. So have a great night, and congratulations to all of you again.
Okay, guys, before we start, we have a new picture of Mars. Come on.
Here comes the rest of the EDL team. The Mars Curiosity team entering right now. They are quite happy.
So what is the order that you are doing?
We're going to have you sit back down and
But somebody put this. Okay, I think we need to get... Okay, can we get everybody seated? Okay, can we get everybody? I need to take control of this thing. Okay, can we get... Yeah, can we have it stop people coming? Okay, can we stop, please? Can we get everybody seated? Okay, needless to say, there is a lot of excitement in this room. Okay, good night. Good evening, everybody. Okay, can we get everybody, please? Can we get quiet, please? Please, everybody, can we get quiet? I'm sure all of you want to hear about how things went. Well, tonight was a great drama that was played. I felt like an adventure movie, but in reality, I kept telling myself, this is real. This is real, what's happening. And what a fantastic demonstration of what our nation and our agency, can do. I could only think of the words of Teddy Roosevelt as I was sitting there. It is far better to dare mighty things, even though we might fail, than to stay in the twilight that knows neither victory nor defeat. And the team brought us victory, today. I can also only think about the Olympians. Here we had our team, which went to the Olympics. We were not sure we were going to win, but this team came back with the gold. So thank you, guys. We are so proud of you. And just think what an inspiration to the young people in the world by watching what these young people and old people like me have accomplished. It's really inspiring. I just was talking to my daughter and she was crying, about it, how exciting this is, how inspirational. So we hope that the tens of millions of people who have been sharing this adventure with us will be the people who will be carrying the torch, and continuing our exploration of the solar system. And what a bargain that we got this mission for. This movie costed you less than $7 per American citizen. And look at the excitement that we have brought and the inspiration that we have brought. And tonight we just did the landing. Tomorrow we're going to start exploring Mars. And next week, and next month, and next year, we'll be bringing new discovery every day, every week to all of you. And we are going to continue not only exploring Mars, but exploring the solar system and exploring the universe because our curiosity has no limit. Thank you all, and I'm going to introduce John Grunsfeld, who is the head of space science at NASA.
Much. Do we have sound? Great. You know, we said before landing this afternoon, Charles and I here, that Mars is hard and success is not guaranteed. There are many out in the community who say that NASA has lost its way, that we don't know how to explore, that we've lost our moxie. I want you to look around tonight, all those folks with the blue shirts, think about what we've achieved. I think it's fair to say that NASA knows how to explore. We've been exploring, and we're on Mars. And while it certainly is an international collaboration, and we welcome the participation, this feat that you've seen tonight is something that only the United States of America can do, and the rover is made in the USA. And just to stay in character, we've been on the surface for 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 16 seconds. The last 8 months, and certainly for the 7 minutes of terror, has started to weave, an unbelievable story. As we get ready to transition to surface ops, I think what we really need to pay attention to now is that the Curiosity story is just beginning. And with that, I'll turn it over to the team.
Pete, that's the guy in charge of this project.
I think you can tell that the team is ecstatic at tonight's results. This is an incredible feeling for me personally, not only to be associated with such a tremendous event, but to have the privilege to be able to be asked to lead such an incredible team of people. I mean, as easy as it looked tonight, and it wasn't, but as easy as it looked tonight is because of the people in the blue shirts who are standing around you, and because of thousands of others around this country, around the world, who worked on this for 7, 8 years to cause this to come to being. I mean, they've done an incredible job. Words cannot state the kind of job that they've done. 8 years ago, I sat on this stage, talked to some of you after the landing of Spirit, and then 3 weeks later after the landing of Opportunity, and I never thought I would ever say this, but this is better than that. I want to thank everyone who worked so hard on this project directly. Some of the people who've left the project because their work has been done, but they're with us in spirit tonight and have shared in this success. I want to thank, and I want them to thank, all the support of them, their significant others, and their families and their friends. This work is very hard. It's very demanding, and without the support at the home front, it can't be done successfully. And I know that my wife is, without whom I could not do this job, is a wonderful person. I'm sure that the team shares that attribute with their families as well. But I especially want to thank, and I especially want to recognize the gentleman who's sitting to my left, and that's Richard Cook. He has put blood, sweat, and tears into this project. But believe me, we would not have been successful without him tonight. And when you look at his record, Pathfinder, 2 MERS, and this one unparalleled in the country today. I mean, just unparalleled. So I'll now let him humbly accept your accolades.
So that rocked. Seriously, was that not cool or what? Woo! I have been lucky enough to have done this now 4 times, and it never gets old. Seriously, it's just a great experience. And there are some people out there, Rob Manning and Dara Sabai and some of the other folks who have done this as many times, and I know they've all just had the exact same experience as I did tonight, which just gets better every time. It just is amazing. Pathfinder was great, but we were young and stupid, frankly. And now to have an appreciation for how hard it is and how much effort it takes from as Pete said, a team of hundreds and thousands of people around the world is it's inspiring, and it's a little bit overwhelming at times how much effort has been required and how much everybody deserves this great success we've had. I can't let Pete compliment me without returning it. And, you know, there is the guy who's been in charge of 3 of these things. There's pretty much, I think nobody else in the world has that record to be the project manager for 3 Mars landings. And so I think that he's going to have that, no matter what he does from now on, he's going to know that he's the only guy in the world that's ever done that. So good job. Okay, well, then I want to also compliment the 2 guys to my left here. Let me start with the one furthest on the left there, he's now got the keys. He's the guy that's going to make this thing just go down in the record books as far as what we were able to learn on the surface. And I know he's already looking at the pictures saying, is that Mount Sharp? Or what can I see there? And all kinds of stuff. And so he's got the keys pretty soon. Not quite yet, but pretty soon he'll have the keys. Yeah, and he'll make some great history out of what we've been able to do with this thing on the surface. And I know Curiosity will, as I said, really set the record, go down in the record books as an amazing scientific mission. But I can't let the guy in between me go. My friend here, Dr. Stelzner, is been the father and the mother and everything in between of the landing system we've built, and certainly has been its biggest proponent. I remember going to reviews and him saying, hey, I think this thing can work, and you guys just have to give the team a chance 7, 8 years ago, and then just stuck with it through every failed test, through every review that didn't quite work out the way we wanted it. And so he really deserves a huge amount of credit for what's happened tonight, and hopefully everybody appreciates his contributions. I know I certainly do. So. Say something profound.
I am terribly humbled by this experience. I, forever, secretly, have felt that I do not deserve to be in the position of leading the team that I lead, because they are certainly in some, and largely by count of individual, more capable than I. That great things take many people working together to make them happen is one of the fantastic things of human existence. And in my life, I am and will be forever satisfied if this is the greatest thing that I have ever given. There is a new picture of a new place on Mars. And for me, at least, that's the big payoff. And to work as part of such a talented group of people, shepherded by Pete and Richard. And I'm not just talking about the EDL team, I'm talking about the entire team, soup to nuts. The caliber of people here at JPL, the other centers who contribute. It's a tremendous honor, and it is a humbling experience to work with them. And I think that this nation is a truly great representation of a corner or a piece of humanity that reaches out and explores and conquers and engineers. We are kind of tool makers, agriculturalists, pioneers, and that's reflected in the activities and actions and results of tonight. So I want to say thank you to the blue shirts.
Adam, I want to say something. Adam and his wife are expecting a baby in 3 weeks, so we wish them the great luck.
Thank you, Charles.
Child number 2.
Yes, my second daughter comes in just a few weeks here. My wife has been calm at home, or actually she's in the Beckman Auditorium, but she was debating because the last thing we didn't want to have is 2 babies born on the same night. A couple of other groups of folks that I'd like to thank that I think we all are thankful for. Certainly this beautiful theater of tonight, the drama of us all being able to experience it together comes through the efforts of the Odyssey project and the Odyssey spacecraft and that team being able to get that bent pipe UHF telemetry to us, unrivaled in the experience for all of us. And naturally, the DSN and the X-band telemetry that really allowed us to back that up. So please, a round of applause for our comm. And with that, really, I have nothing more to say. That picture says it all for me.
Thank you, Adam, for getting us on the surface. I think that is the best picture of Mars I've ever seen. And I can guarantee you in the days, hours and months and years from now, you're going to be hearing about an incredible science story, and I'm not going to bore you with that tonight. You're going to have to wait for that one, because on behalf of everybody on the science team, 406 team members, we thank everybody that was involved in this enterprise, Charles, Pete, Richard, Adam, everybody that pulled this together. There were over 3,500 JPL employees. I won't count contractors and subcontractors, but I'm sure there were thousands more. 9 science instruments, 10 science instruments, 9 principal investigators, 7 countries, Germany, France, Spain, Russia, Denmark, Britain, Canada. All of us are the beneficiaries of your hard work. We've hardly even scratched the surface, and you're seeing it right there. And I just want to leave you with one thought about what this success brings to everybody that is involved in this enterprise. There is no greater inspiration for middle school children that are going to math, science, and engineering than a mission to Mars. The number of hits on the website is unparalleled. The emphasis on the excitement that this generates is what we bestow upon our children. The money, $2.5 billion. We don't put it in the rover and send it to Mars. We spend it here on Earth. And Charles mentioned at the beginning that this whole enterprise, if you divide it by every woman, child, man in this country, comes out to be the cost of the movie. I know I speak on behalf of all my colleagues in science. That's a movie I want to see. So thank you all.
Okay, we're going to open it up to questions now from the news media. And let me wait for a microphone to come over to you, and go ahead and give us your name and affiliation right there in the middle of the row. Go ahead, Craig.
Hi, Craig. Help with America Space. Adam, tell us about the landing.
All right, Greg. I can't tell you too much about it. I mean, it looks good. I'm being a little flip. In short, it looked extremely clean. We touched down in conditions that were on the more benign side of our nominal expectation. By the way, I want to preface everything. This is preliminary data scooped with the sieve in the cacophony of the control room during the celebration, right? And largely by my good friend Miguel San Martin, who's somewhere out there, I hope. At any rate, very nominal, remarkably good. Our navigation error was on the low side of our expectation, which meant that we probably had a good alignment between the celestial sensors and the inertial sensors, the IMU. Our powered flight appears to have been excellent. If my good friend Ben Toma is in the house, is Ben in the house? We landed with 140 kilograms of fuel reserves out of a total of 400 kilos that we carried in. And Ben worked quite diligently in stretching the tanks at my insistence because I was worried we wouldn't have enough fuel. And so I think I owe Ben a little bit of an apology there. So it looked good, in short. Good and clean. And it looks, at least by my eyeball, that we landed in a nice, flat spot. Beautiful. Really beautiful.
Shani Jardin from boingboing.net, and I'm a stand-in for Miles O'Brien with PBS NewsHour tonight.
You look more attractive than Miles.
I won't tell him that, Adam.
Okay.
I think he heard it.
What? I have to ask you, what kind of file type? Can you tell us about the image file type and compression that was used to send this very important couple of thumbnails back from Mars?
Yes, unfortunately, I absolutely cannot. If Justin Mackey is in the room, or there's a couple other people on the team who'd be able to whip that out quickly, but I couldn't tell you. Sorry.
Okay, we're going across the aisle over here. Let me just wait for the mic runner right there. Thank you.
Hi, Sally Rail with Planetary Society, and this is for Adam. Two very quick questions. Well, first one's quick. Are you going to call your daughter Curiosity?
It is true that I think that curiosity is perhaps the central defining human attribute. I really do. And Richard and I were both part of a group of people who were in the process of helping winnow down the names of the school kids had taken. And there was, I don't know, a couple hundred that we looked at. And curiosity was one of them. And I was smitten from the moment I saw that. And I'm so happy that the rover is Curiosity.
Okay, the next question is a little more than 48 hours ago.
Carla's right there.
Come on, Carla, stand up.
Stand up.
Stand up. Go ahead.
My daughter's name will not be Curiosity.
Okay, a serious question. A little more than 48 hours ago, you told me you would tell me a secret. Once Curiosity landed. Can I have my secret?
Yeah, what was this? A lot has happened in the last 48 hours. And to be very truthful, I do not recall what that secret was.
I'm going to hold you to this.
That's fine. Maybe I'll remember it.
Okay, looking for the next question up here, a little forward there. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivier Sanguy and joyspace.com from France. So, thank you for ChemCam and SAMGT, which is a French participation instrument. We did a webcast in French for people following, and I made a contract with Ustream saying, oh, there are not going to be a lot of people. Well, 40,000. And I said 4,000. Okay, sorry for that. Anyway, there is international cooperation and curiosity. Of course, it's an American success for the landing. I would like to know how this cooperation goes with the other countries. I think you learned something. I mean, engineers are engineers. Data is data. Numbers are numbers in every country. But you do have your own habits. Mm-hmm. How did you manage with that? Was that fine? Was there tensions? Enrichment, cultural, perhaps?
The question is with the other countries?
Yes.
Yes.
What did you learn with the others?
Right, I'll let Richard answer that one.
I think that in each case, because we were working part of this with the science teams, we had very good relations with the other countries that were working on it. In particular, the Spanish, and who built the high gain antenna for us, as well as one of the instruments. We had engineers on our side who would work closely with their teams. Very, very capable people, companies and organizations and personnel working on those efforts over there. So we certainly had our problems. We had our problems even on the U.S. parts of this. I mean, this is a challenging development, and there were challenges on almost every piece of the vehicle. So I think that my experience with working with the overseas elements was very good. That they're quite capable, and I think that hopefully they'll gain the expertise they gain on this project, they'll be able to take that and to use it on their own endeavors in the future. So.
Okay, we're going next over here.
Leo Enright from Irish Television. The unmanned spaceflight website has coordinates for the landing that go down to something like 5 decimal points. I just wanted to confirm with you that that you do have them. Have those sort of coordinates, and am I reading those coordinates correctly when I see that it looks as though you've landed within 500 meters of the skirt around the mountain? That, I mean, you're really very close to the mountain at the closer end in the landing ellipse, and possibly within striking distance of the phyllosilicate trench.
I can't confirm that. My estimate, I'm looking for somebody, yes, there's somebody in the audience here who has that in the tip of their noggin. We should have soon that estimate, but I don't have it to 5 decimal places. We wouldn't report it to that because we're certain that we don't know it to that. And I don't know what the unmannedspaceflight.com estimate is.
Yeah, there's a team of people that are working on localization, including what information we got on the way down. The nav filter, probably taking a picture at where, looking at the picture and trying to figure out from there where we are. I would imagine by tomorrow's press conferences, they should have a better idea where it came down within a few hundred meters at least, hopefully.
Okay, the next question's over on this side.
I'm Chief Fan from TVBS Taiwan. We also have a live event in Taiwan. This is actually a question from our audience, which is, I think she's like around 10 years old girl, and she wants to know if it is possible, if there is any opportunity that JPL would consider to open up the opportunity for students to operate Curiosity in Mars, and then especially students from overseas. I want you to know if the answer is yes, I want to say my name right now.
I got to tell you in all honesty, first we have to let them wait for the scientists to operate it, so.
Okay, we have a question. Henry, you're next.
Henry Bortman with Astrobiology Magazine. Can you tell us at what time Curiosity touched down, Earth received time, and at what time the first image came back?
I can tell you the first of those is 10:39 p.m. The second of those I don't have.
Go here in the center of the room.
I'm director from Scholastic. Both Charles and John said that this is very much of an inspiration to young people. Can you tell me what inspired you when you were growing up? What made you decide to join NASA and do all of this amazing work?
Let me start. I was inspired by the first astronauts, the Gemini program, the Apollo program, and specifically here we are still in the heart of summer, and I remember being brought into the mess hall at summer camp to look at a small black and white TV along with a couple hundred other boys. It was a boys' camp in central Wisconsin, to see Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin land on the moon, July 21st, 1969. And that stuck with me and inspired me to go on to become a physicist, a scientist, to study math and science throughout school, eventually to apply to the astronaut corps, to go to space. And I hope, and it was a dream of mine for this evening, and I think we've achieved that, that for kids today, actually for everyone today, that this landing of Curiosity on the surface of Mars will be an inspiration that will lead people to think about the great science that's ahead of us and to go on to do great things. Someone else?
Sorry, Rob is making gestures at me out there in the audience, so I'm not sure what, I'm trying to interpret what he's saying. I mean, I think the thing, so the kinds of, I didn't have a specific activity or a thing, like John said, that inspired me, but so much as being able to do problem solving, right? And the thing that we do here, and NASA does, and JPL does, is we solve problems. And we solve problems that involve obviously very state-of-the-art activities, but also things that require large teams of people working together in a really intimate way that is really different, I think, than almost any other human endeavor. It's amazing to solve a problem as complicated as landing on the surface of Mars, where you're utterly dependent on a team of 100 or 200 or 1,000 other people to do their parts and to do it, to solve their problems and have all those problems work together. And it's just the scale of that endeavor, that problem solving, that is what got me attracted to working for NASA and for JPL. And I think that's, if I were to talk to my kids or to kids, to go in this field, that's the kind of thing that NASA and JPL does. And it's really, if you're interested in that sort of problem or in that sort of activity, this is the place to come and do it.
Okay, go ahead.
Raphael Jaffe with Aerotech News and Review up in Lancaster. What am I really seeing in that photo that is behind you? And I heard something about a second photo, shadow of the Curiosity being seen, and wheels, or a wheel of the Curiosity. So could you lead me through that photo? Maybe John or Adam or somebody. Thank you.
Well, I can just tell you, I mean, yes, what you're seeing in the first picture that you said, that was the shadow of Curiosity there in the view. These are the rear HAZ-cam views, so we're looking out the back of the rover. I don't think we got any of the front HAZ-cams.
That's front.
Oh, is it front? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's front. There we go. The other one is the rear, and that is the wheel you see in the lower corner there. We do expect to get more pictures back in this upcoming Odyssey Pass, which hopefully will be in about 25 minutes here, so we'll get yet more pictures. And these images were actually through the cover. And actually, if you go back to the other one for a second, can you switch to the other picture? You can see those little speckles around the black little dots or speckles around the outside, which is probably dust kicked up, during the landing event that's stuck onto the covers. And so it's good that we have covers because now we'll take those covers off, and hopefully those specks of dust will not be visible in the next set of pictures we get.
Okay.
Burkhard Bilgo, the New Yorker. I may be imagining this, but the one time during the landing the temperature seemed to drop in the room was when Adam asked for OD 278, and they said, no, we only have 277. What was happening, or was it anything of significance?
No. We are, as we're coming in, the navigators are continuing to make OD's orbital determination, where the spacecraft is, and updating, and they all have numbers, an estimate, an estimate, an estimate. And they get better as Mars grabs us, and the pull of Mars reduce some of the inherent uncertainty in that estimate. While that's going on, while EDL is happening, in the EDL war room in a different building, you were seeing it on some of the cameras, the flight dynamics team is running simulations to the ground with our simulation tool based on those updated ODs. And so I had seen that OD had 228 come up, and I was asking if they had that, because I had it, and they didn't have it over there yet, and they hadn't started. That was what that was about.
Let me get a new question over here.
Ian Thompson from the Register. Question for John Grotzinger. You now get the keys to this and you can sort of get it moving along. What's the first stages that you'll go through in terms of getting Curiosity out there, and potentially how long could it survive on Mars beyond the 2-year span?
I'll take a swipe at the first one. We just want to get going first and check out all of the engineering systems and the science instruments. And this is a very, very, very complex spacecraft compared to what we've done before. And so because of that, we'll go through this long checkout period called the commissioning activity period. And Pete and Richard will be watching this very carefully. And we're going to make sure that we're firing on all cylinders before we blaze out across the plains there. But nested within those initial tests are going to be science observations. And so we have a plan to begin working through those as we test out the instruments. And in the next few days, you guys will be able to see some of the images. You'll see the results of the instrument health and aliveness checks and how we do. But the best way to think about this mission is the order of days, weeks, months, and years. And we can loosely bound things. I think we expect to spend a couple of weeks checking things out and then maybe taking the first drive a short distance to some place where we'll go through the second phase of commissioning. And then in a matter of months, we hope to have used all of the instruments, including the SAM and the ChemIn instruments, and done some scooping and drilling. And, possibly within a year or so, we could be at the base of Mount Sharp, because the place we landed on looks pretty darn interesting, and we just don't want to rush out of there without having studied it real well. So it's missions about patience and and checking things out carefully.
John and I have a bet as to whether or not how long it will take us to get to Mount Sharp, because my version of the surface mission is that it's like going on a family vacation and driving from here to Chicago, and except for your family, it's got 400 scientists who want to stop and look at every fossilized whatever they can find, and so he says it's not going to take that long, and I don't believe him.
Richard's going to win.
Yeah.
John's going to search for the biggest ball of twine in Gale. In terms of the second part of your question, there is no inherent consumables on the spacecraft. We don't have gas or something we run out of inherently. We test the life-limiting characteristics tend to be the mechanisms, the motors, and those things. They tend to be outside in the cold, so they suffer the greatest thermal highs and lows. And we test those for 3 times life, and we don't test them to failure. So the nominal mission for this is 2 years. But I think if it lasts twice that, I don't think anyone would be shocked. And that's the first time anyone's ever gotten me to say anything more than 2 years. So I think John's right. We've got a long mission ahead of us, and because of that and the capabilities of this rover, we have this possibility for just monumental science accomplishments and the target we've gone to. I mean, this Mount Sharp is just, this whole story of Mars, and we just can explore and explore and explore across that. The other side of that is, as I've said to the team, and I'll repeat it to the press here, is that we're in no hurry. Okay, we now have, as I said to the team, on 10/32 tonight, we would have a priceless asset, a priceless national asset. Okay, and we are not going to, pardon the French, screw it up. Okay, and therefore we will take our time to understand its condition and understand if there's anything that happened during landing that we haven't uncovered yet. We will take our time to make sure that we understand how to operate it in this new and challenging environment. And then we will, with slow, deliberate, methodical pace, we'll begin the science explorations that the science team wants to take. So be patient with us, please, because we will be patient with curiosity.
Just realize that this is the second rover we have operating on the surface of Mars at the same time. That's pretty spectacular to have opportunity still there 8 years later, and Curiosity both doing its thing.
Continuous roving presence on the surface of Mars for in excess of 8 years now.
That's right.
All right, with that, we're going to end tonight's news conference. We know that there is a next Odyssey pass coming up at about 12:40, and we're going to let you all take your time, get back up there, and get back to work. And I want to thank everyone for joining us. Stay tuned for our next commentary session that we will begin at around 12:30 for that overpass of the Odyssey spacecraft, and then follow the mission. Stay with us at www.nasa.gov/MSL for more updates. Join us tomorrow for another news conference at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you so much.